All right, team, welcome back to Walks on Wall Street. Apologies for being late. I had to finish up some work here. As you guys know, tomorrow I'm actually flying back to Miami. Tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday, so there will be no live stream. So we're going to do a combination of the Markets to Look Ahead live stream tonight here on Saturday night, live from New York City. So once again, apologies for being late. Crazy news flow today. It appears that U.S. airspace was, for a very brief time, was actually shut down over Montana. So airspace was shut down over the skies of Montana for a very brief period today. But according to Reuters, and this is breaking news, U.S. FAA reopens Montana airspace shut for defense activities. Now, I think earlier in the day, there was yet again another UFO that was shot down in Canada. Yesterday, there was also a UFO shot down off the coast of Alaska. So I have no idea what's going on. This is a little concerning, I would say, for me. Look, I mean, we're going to get more details as the weekend progresses, but it's definitely not comforting to know that we're being forced to scramble F-15 fighter jets to blow UFOs out of the sky. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Thank God we were all safe and sound here in the U.S. and Canada. I think the Prime Minister, or I think Justin Trudeau, ordered another UFO shot down as well in Canada. Guys, next week is a big week on Wall Street for inflation. So Wall Street is bracing for a busy week of economic data that may run counter to recent trends. The consumer price index is out Tuesday, and the expected rise is about 0.5% for January after edging up 0.1% in December. Now, if we talk about on a per annum basis or the annual inflation rate, it actually is expected to dip a little bit to 6.2%. from the 6.5% reading that we got the previous month. But as we've been talking about almost to the point of ad nauseum here on Walks on Wall Street, the Federal Reserve usually looks to the core CPI more so than the actual headline number. And so for those of you who don't know, core CPI excludes volatile food and energy, and the consensus on Wall Street is that core CPI is seen rising 0.3% on the month and 5.4% on a per annum basis year over year, which would also signal some deceleration there. Also coming up next week, everybody, is going to be a big week for the EV mining stocks. So a huge week for the lithium miners. We have ticker symbol LTHM reporting. I believe that is on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we have ticker symbol ALB reporting as well. Across the board, it's supposed to actually be a pretty decent quarter for the miners. So we will talk about that. But without further ado, team, let us get started. I will say hello to everybody in the chat, and we'll get to walking around New York City. I see my good friend War Walker. Good to see you. Unij22, Dr. Long is, I see Muhammad. Richard Vogel's here, what's up? Yeah, username schmoozername says Tom, core CPI excludes insignificant things like food and energy. I sense a little bit of satire there, and I kind of do agree. But we'll talk about it. Now, here's something that I'm concerned about, everybody. Not necessarily for this month's CPI report, but CPI reports going forward. And we'll sort of talk about that tonight. But take a look at crude oil this week. I think the futures contract closed at about $80, which is concerning because we are now trading back above that 50-day moving average. And if we start to see gas prices move up again, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is not going to be happy about that. And the American people are not going to be happy about that. And I think the Biden administration may put pressure on the Fed to get that under control. Anyway, hey, I see DM here. What's up, DM? Good to see you. I see the one and only Vinny Castellano. Welcome, Vinny. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We are live from Madison Avenue, 31st Street. But let us get downstairs, team, and we will get this kicked off. You know, I actually went to a couple open houses in the city today. There were a couple near Central Park South, where I used to live. And I'm actually quite surprised at some of the real estate prices in New York. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight. My friend Sally is here. Jimmy Hook says, evening all, making chili for the big game tomorrow. Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. That's going to be an exciting one. I'll see you guys downstairs. Start to buffer in the elevator here. What's up, guys? All right, push to exit, and here we are. We are now on the ground floor, and we're actually going to be headed downtown tonight. Now, the WeWork office here is right next to all of these really fancy and really nice sort of interior designer offices and showrooms. Some of the furniture in these places are pretty pricey too. Hey, I see Cooking Bro. Good to see you. Says, hey, everybody. Steph UH. Welcome, Steph. Hey, Hawaii is here. Says, Tom, congratulations again on 28K. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's right, team. We are now 28,000 people strong here at Walks on Wall Street. That's kind of incredible. So thank you all for subscribing to the channel and enjoying the sights and sounds of New York City and Miami as we discuss the financial markets. I'm really, really happy about the growth of the channel, and I never really expected the channel to get this big. It was almost by mistake, so I really appreciate you guys. Hey, my friend Dan Zhang is here. Says, Tom, going back to Miami so soon. Yeah, so Dan, I'll sort of tell you guys what I'm doing. As you know, I've been having some construction done on my house. As you know, the driveway is now complete. And I want to make a quick comparison between trying to get work done to the house down in southern Florida as compared to, you know, maybe for some of the Long Islanders in the chat, or maybe even if you own a place in the city. Guys, I hired the company, right, to do the driveway. They were done in 4 days. That would take weeks on Long Island. Getting permits, getting approvals, it's just, you know, and that's one of the things. And I was talking to one of my buddies who lives in California, lives near Silicon Valley, and he was saying the same thing. And one of his main takeaways or suppositions as to why there's a massive housing crisis in California is because of big bureaucracy, government bureaucracy, permits for everything, zoning issues, zoning laws, and the regulations have sort of really turned the market's head upside down, for lack of a better term. But I'll be there. I gotta, you know, clean up the site. There's a lot of debris in the backyard and the front yard, and then I have tenants coming, and they're gonna stay for about a month. So I want to hire a cleaning service to do a deep clean on the house. Going to do the laundry, and hopefully everything will be good. I'll keep you guys up to date. The LT Prod is here, says what's up, says New York, Mass, and Cali have tons of regulations. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. My friend Sunset Blue is here. Good to see you. Mimi says hello, Tom. Western Mass Dave. Western Mass Dave, good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Richard Vogel says you better believe it, Tom. I know. Abdullah Flat Smack, GGNYC. Kevin Miller is considering Morgan Stanley over BlackRock on Wall Street as vice president of portfolio management, says Kevin Miller. Wow, dude, congrats. That's fantastic. Congratulations on the promotion. I think no matter where you end up, you're probably going to do fantastic. So keep us updated on that. That's an awesome opportunity, dude. You should be proud of yourself. Mimi says California has rent control. Not sure if Florida does. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the one thing I will say. The renter laws in New York are more geared towards the tenant as opposed to the landlord. So depending on what state you're in, right? And I think this is really important if you're thinking about becoming a real estate investor, buying properties and renting them out. Look at how unique a lot of the furniture stores here are. You really need to be in tune with a lot of the renter laws and understand, which states are in more of the favor towards the tenants or the landlords. I think that's very, very important. You don't really want squatters in your home. Look at how unique and beautiful this is. Sally is here. What's up? Lemonade says hello, Tom. Says there's rent control in California. NG says hello, Tom and friends. Always a pleasure to see you, NG. Oscar says shout out from Puerto Rico. Is it a safe bet to invest in oil companies? Throughout the decade, big oil seems to control their destiny and have the upper hand on their stocks. Well, I can't really. One of the things we don't do here on Walks on Wall Street, we really don't offer advice. We just sort of have open discussion about the financial markets and real estate. But, I think oil companies have been raking in record profits over the past 2 years. The refining margins have really juiced a lot of the corporate earnings too of these oil companies. But, in my view, and if you've been watching Walks on Wall Street for a while, I've actually said publicly here that I think the energy trade has been getting a little bit long in the tooth. But here's one thing I will say. It seems as if, and this is unfortunate, it seems as if the Russia-Ukraine situation is actually escalating. And there was some breaking news at a CNN Business just yesterday that Vladimir Putin says he is going to be cutting oil production by 5%. Crude oil futures, if you want to take a look at it, ticker symbol CL, actually was up 3% on the day, back above the 50-day moving average, trading at $80 a barrel. So if we can get a rally in crude here, I think this energy trade could be a little bit prolonged, but I don't personally have any exposure. Mike Skate TV says, hello, Tom. What's up? Good to see you, Mike. As always, we are standing outside of the beautiful Whole Foods here. Now, Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. That was, I would say, one of the best acquisitions they've ever made. Now, speaking of Whole Foods, there's actually a brand new Whole Foods that just opened in the financial district, so down near Wall Street. One of my good buddies was telling me about it. Ali Star says paying over the asking price for renting here in Australia is becoming common. Wow, that's crazy that kind of activity is still going on. Now, that was actually happening here too, if you guys remember correctly. If we sort of remember the timeline, we were talking about this on the stream as it relates to New York City rental prices and the Miami rental prices. Because what was happening is in the single-family housing market last year, I would say the tail end of 2020, early 2021 and throughout, there were crazy bidding wars for single-family homes, not only in New York State, but pretty much across the entire country, guys. So what that was doing is pricing out a lot of people from the housing market, and since the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates, the cost of your monthly mortgage payment has quite literally doubled, forcing actually more people to be renters. And we're still dealing with record low supply as it relates to units for rent in the renting market. So a lot of the craziness that we were seeing with people getting into bidding wars for single family homes, duplexes and triplexes, yeah, exactly what Ali Starr was saying. A lot of that is spilling over into the rental market, but it's kind of cooled here in New York. It's cooled here in Miami. I can't speak for Australia, but that's a pretty good insight, so thank you for that. My good friend Richard Vogel is here. Hey, Smee Media, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome back to New York. It's a beautiful day today, everybody. A little windy, but beautiful. It's almost 50 degrees. Michael is here. Says, hey, Tom from Corpus Christi, Texas. Good to see you, Michael. Welcome, everybody from Corpus Christi. The LT Prod says, Tom, my neighbor paid $60,000 over list, and now I'm paying higher taxes for it due to higher valuations. That's another thing, guys. I mean, what the LT Prod said. I think I already told you my story about what happened to my home in Miami. And I think a lot of single family home buyers, especially first time home buyers, didn't expect this, especially for those that were buying in parts of Texas. You know, they were buying $200,000, $300,000 homes in Texas thinking that it's super, super cheap. But once you make a new transaction, right, once the new sale goes in, you pay your taxes on the appraisal value, and the appraisal values have absolutely gone through the roof due to obvious reasons. So a lot of people are stuck with, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 tax bills. That is not uncommon. It's kind of crazy. Flat Smacks says you still got to pay the property tax, aka the rent. Yeah, you're essentially renting it from the government, which is also another reason. And team, we're just for some context here. This is Madison Square Park. Really, really nice neighborhood here in and around Madison Square Park. Tonight we are going to be walking down to the Village again. Very seldom do we get down to the Village on the stream, so I think it'll be appropriate to kind of go down there and check it out one more time. Hey, Bryce says, Tom, I bought my home so cheap, no more paying a mortgage to some wealthy banker or risking my life going to work making someone else richer. Life is good. Snowy weather is fun for me. Hey, dude, that's the American dream, my friend. Congratulations to you. That is a major accomplishment to be able to own your home free and clear. I think that's something we should all aspire to, including myself. So congratulations on your success. That's awesome. Alan M says New York City has some very nice parks. I think that they have the best parks in the world. One of which being Central Park. Check out the architecture of this building. Now, speaking of parks, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a secret, okay? If you're coming to visit New York City, or you're moving here for the first time, here's my recommendation. Check out the Upper West Side of Manhattan, anywhere between 68th Street and 90th Street, okay? That's going to give you the best of both worlds to check out not only Central Park to your right, but to the left, there's an even better park, in my opinion, underrated. It is called Riverside Park. And Riverside, it's such a nice park because it's right on the Hudson River. There's gorgeous, what do you call them? Like flower beds and all really, really cool stuff there. And there's no tourists. Very seldom are there any tourists. Tourists don't even know about it. The only reason why I am so accustomed to Riverside Park is during my college days, as you guys know, I went to college at a local city college, at CUNY here in New York. And when I played soccer, we would actually practice sometimes right at 103rd Street in Riverside. There's some really nice athletic fields and athletic facilities there. Really nice park. I would say even Riverside is probably better than Central Park. Maybe a hot take, I don't know. Meld says, love the Upper West Side. I want to live by, yeah, that's another good place too. Now, weren't they gonna close them down or am I thinking of something else, everybody? Weren't they gonna go out of business and then maybe they got bought out or something? Sunshine After Rain is here, good to see you, Sunshine. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully everybody's weekend is going fantastic. Now, this is the southernmost side of Madison Square Park. And could you imagine living in this building right here? Because probably if you're anywhere above the 20th floor in that building, you have an unobstructed view of not only the One Vanderbilt building, but also the Empire State Building. You could see just the tip of the spire there, but if you're high enough up, you can probably definitely see the entire thing. Bryce says, I heard rumors that Gavin Newsom might run for president if Biden decides not to run for a second term. Yeah, I was hearing that too. I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Biden will run again. Gennaro's here from Brazil. Hey, Gennaro, good to see you. Welcome to all of our Brazilian viewers. Danny is here. Julia M, what's up? Frank the Tank says, agree with Riverside Park. Watch the walking commuter walk through there in the summer. Oh, do the great saunter. Ah, copy that. So maybe this is a little bit anecdotal, but over the past 3 days in New York, I would say Thursday, Friday, and now Saturday, I'm noticing like a ridiculous amount of ambulances and fire trucks ripping around the city. Has anybody else been noticing, or maybe that's just in my own head, but it just seems a lot more than usual. Now, maybe it's because I've been in Miami for 2 weeks and maybe I've become accustomed to a little bit more quiet, but I've been in New York all my life, and it's something crazy is going on this week. I think something's in the water. Something's crazy. I think a lot of people are I don't know, guys. It's just getting crazy. I mean, we talked about at the very beginning of the live stream, you know, Canada had to shoot down another UFO today. Yesterday, President Joe Biden, authorized the United States military shoot down a UFO off the coast of Alaska. It just seems like there's chaos going on all over the place. Hopefully it's nothing to worry about, but just seems a little bit concerning. Wow, take a look at this. This is a gorgeous view of the Empire State Building, all lit up in blue today. I wonder why it's lit up in blue. Anybody know why? Yeah, Alan M says anecdotal in my opinion. It probably is. It's probably just me getting in my own head. You're probably right. Karina Thompson says I've noticed a lot in Oklahoma as well. Hey, Iris Lewis says good evening, Tom. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Lost Boy says simulation is closing in on us. Hilarious. Hilarious. Well, guys, tomorrow, next week is going to be a very, very busy week on Wall Street. I actually expect extreme volatility, and I wanted to talk about this tomorrow, but we actually are not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow because, number one, it is Super Bowl Sunday, and number two, I will be traveling. But across the board on all the major equity indices, such as the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the S&P 500, we're seeing a lot of moving average compression here, which means the 50, the 200-day, the 10, the 12, the 21, they're all compressing. And usually when you have moving average compression, you have, in time, you have explosion in volatility. And if you look at the VIX, we talked about the CBOE volatility index, finally back above 20. If you look at the 200-day moving average on the VIX, it's right at 25. I think we could have a little bit of a bid in the VIX, go all the way back to 25. And the main catalyst for that, everybody, will probably be on Tuesday when we get the CPI report. So CPI is coming in on Tuesday. We're going to be doing a huge stream on Tuesday, breaking down every single thing in that CPI report, line item by line item. But I think that may be a catalyst for some pretty big volatility. I mean, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think CPI is going to come in above expectations, in line, or you think it's going to come in hot, let me know. Danny, CPI means Consumer Price Index. So it's the inflation numbers, big inflation numbers. Alan M says, I'm thinking of interesting. Oh, W says, did anybody go to Katz's? I did not go last night. Usually once the live streams are over, my email box clogs up and I have to just work through emails. Michael Joseph says, Tom, the CPI and the UFOs are definitely moving markets. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely enough catalyst for volatility, that's for sure. Karina Thompson is here, what's up? Good to see you. Flat Smack says, Tom, I think it's going to be skewed numbers. How do you figure? What do you mean by skewed, if you don't mind me asking? Hey, Valor Rabbit, good to see you. Says, hey Tom, I saw one of your photos and I thought you were Daniel Howell for a second. Who's that? I don't know who that is. Hey, 3T3 says they'll adjust it higher after the fact. They've done it the past 3. So you think it's going to be upward revisions? Maybe, we'll see. Now my only concern, well, I do have multiple, but not to be too much of a Debbie Downer, but my concern going forward is that we're probably going to see a bid or reacceleration in headline CPI in about 2 months. Because crude has been rallying quite substantially here. So if you think about the headline number as we include volatile food and energy, headline number may actually expand in the coming months. Hey, the RVer TV, what's up? Says, hey Tom, looks like a beautiful night in New York City. Good to see you, the RVer TV. Always a pleasure to have you joining us. It is a beautiful night in New York City. We just came from Madison Square Park. I always love walking past this Home Depot because they always have these huge American flags outside, which are absolutely fantastic. Oh, Terry says, hello, Tom. How was the coffee shop from yesterday's stream? Did you make it there? I didn't get a chance to make it there, man. I'm going to try to go early tomorrow morning before my flight, but unfortunately, I did not make it there. Michael Joseph says, what is the cutoff date for CPI? Gas prices up again recently. Will it be included? So it's not going to be included in this report, but it probably will be for March and April, assuming we continue to have a bid in crude. RP says, Tom, you walk too much. You should show us the hidden gems of small mom and pop restaurants so that when we visit there, we know where to go. So I'll give you a couple right now since it is Saturday. I'll give you guys two recommendations, both of which are on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So if you guys are visiting New York and you want the greatest breakfast place to go to in all of New York City, okay, you got to go to the Upper West Side and go to a place called Good Enough to Eat. That place is unbelievably good. Now, I think it's on 86th Street in Columbus. I could be mistaken by the exact location, but if you just Google Upper West Side Good Enough to Eat, that place is fantastic. I used to go there all the time when I used to work right on 83rd Street between Amsterdam and Columbus. That place is fantastic. Another good place on the Upper West Side is a place called Sen. S-E-N-N. It's actually a Thai food restaurant. And that is right on 83rd Street and Amsterdam Avenue. I would highly suggest going to those two first. Yeah, so Photos from Around New York actually dropped the link in the chat if you guys are interested. My friend Chris Beeman is here. What's up? So Chris Beeman is joining us from the beautiful state of Arizona. It's probably a lot better weather where you are than I am. Joan K says, hello, Tom. What's up? Bree Grams is going to try to make waffles at home in the morning. If you can make it to Good Enough to Eat, feel free to come. Meld says, I'm writing these down. and if they're not good, I'll be furious. If they're not good, the meal's on me. How about that? Bryce Cooley's, Tom, interest rates are up. CD rates are currently above 4.5%. Yeah, you know, we've been seeing a lot of that stuff as we've been walking past a lot of these branches too. Now, I think First National Bank, I forget the name of the bank that we were walking past near Radio City Music Hall, but for a 10-month CD, you're looking at 4.5%. That's pretty good. Now, is that going to suck away a lot of liquidity out of equities to flow into some of these fixed income products? What the hell is this guy doing? Maybe. But that's a pretty good deal. 4.5%, 10-month CD. Pretty good. Yeah, Mike C says even money market accounts are over 4%. You're right. So Mike C, do you think that, because notice the trend here, everybody, and this is a pretty good lesson on investor psychology. We're starting to see on the live stream, Walks in Wall Street, many people starting to mention, well, instead of investing money into the stock market, if I can get, 4.5% risk-free, why don't I just do that? Now, do you think that's actually going to start to fundamentally affect fund flows into equities? What do you guys think? Irish Lewis says, Tom, I've seen 10 months for 4.5%. Hey, Gennaro's here. Interesting. Tom AK, what's up? Michael Joseph says bonds are catching a bid again. Well, bonds have actually been getting crushed. I think what you mean are yields are catching a little bit of a bid. Because the way the bond market works, it's an inverse correlation, right? So when you have bonds, the prices of bonds sell off, yields go up, right? There's an inverse correlation there. So I get what you're saying. We're getting a little bit of a bid in some of these yields, but that means the bonds are selling off. And usually, there's an old saying on Wall Street that the junk moves first. So I always keep my eye on ticker symbol JNK, which is the Bloomberg High Yield Bond ETF. And that's been getting smacked over the past couple days. Wow, look at this place. I'm not sure if this is a club or something, but it seems like a lot of people are out here. Anybody know what this is? Maybe photos from around New York? Hey, Pinzo is here. It says, hello everybody. Tom, congrats on 28,000. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. Mike C says, Tom, I dropped my equity allocation down 10% this past week. Into a money market account. Very nice. Bryce says, my prediction is the CD rates will rise to 6% by the end of 2023. You may be right. Look at all these people coming out here, guys. This is a very, very lively night in New York. I'm not sure what it is. Very crowded. DWG says gas lineups in Long Beach. I haven't seen that. Julia M says, Tom, Capital One has CD at 5%. Well, here's something that I've been looking at, and I've actually been getting advertisements from a lot of these online banks. Now, I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this because during earnings season obviously gets kicked off with all of the major financial institutions, right? The major investment banks and the like. And Goldman Sachs, obviously, they're what I like to call obviously a bulge bracket pure play investment bank, and they don't have much exposure to the retail banking sector. Now, the team over at Goldman Sachs has tried to fix that over the years by creating another company that is called Marcus by Goldman Sachs. But unfortunately, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, which is sort of marketed towards retail investors, retail traders, to try to break into retail consumer banking, has really fallen on its face, and it's not been profitable at all. It's actually been a huge money loser for the company. I remember I was on the earnings call, and there was an analyst from Jefferies that was roasting the CEO of Goldman Sachs, saying, you guys got to get out of that business because you're losing way too much money. But anyway, I think it was a Facebook advertisement on Instagram about a 10-month CD. I think it was like 4.9%, Marcus by Goldman Sachs. 4.9. Yo, we got FredX here. What's up, FredX? God bless you, sir, and thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you have some interesting plans for Super Bowl Sunday. Michael Joseph, Tom, banks buy higher yield bonds and sell you the CDs at slightly lower rate. I just buy the bond myself, says Michael Joseph. Yeah, so you're exactly right, but then you have the risk, assuming you're going to hold the bond to maturity, right? You're correct. Assuming you're going to hold the bond to maturity. Richard Vogel says, what bank was that, Tom? Well, it's called Marcus by Goldman Sachs. But I actually think that Goldman Sachs is going to be winding down the retail segment of their banking. Because think about it like this, everybody, and we talked about this during earnings season. Now, one of our predictions was that, if you wanted to pick and choose what to be long or what to be short, I would say it's better to have broader-based exposure towards banks that aren't solely focused towards investment banking, especially in this climate. Because if you think about an investment bank, right, they make a lot of money off of their management fees, equity underwriting, taking companies public, merger and acquisition fees. And in 2021, many investment banks made record profits. I mean, they freaking ripped its face off, making billions of dollars. But think about what happened to the IPO market in 2022. It declined by 99%. So a lot of banks such as JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America had a little bit better of a time offsetting those revenue declines from traditional investment banking because, perfect example right here, you could walk into a JP Morgan Chase and do business banking, do retail banking, consumer banking. It's not like you're going to walk inside Goldman Sachs. If you try to go into Goldman Sachs office on 200 West Street, you're probably going to get escorted out of there by security, right? It's not for people like me and you. These are for massive corporations. It's an investment bank. So Bank of America, Brian Moynihan's company, JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon's company, they have more gross exposure to the retail client as opposed to, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. These are not retail banks. These are mega investment banks. Yeah, Danny is like, or Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately those two aren't around anymore. It was an awesome view of One World Trade Center we just had right there. Now it's funny, Danny, if you guys have seen the live streams when we're walking down Broadway, going directly into Times Square, you could actually still see, obviously, the old Lehman Brothers offices. Now it is actually taken over by a British investment bank called Barclays Investment Bank. But if you remember back to any of the very famous 2008 financial crisis movies, or you watch archives from CNBC, when you see all of the bankers and all the employees walking outside of the office holding cardboard boxes, that's where it was. It was right here in Manhattan, where the now Barclays Investment Bank is. That was the former Lehman Brothers headquarters. Bryce says the new electric Hummer weighs about 9,000 pounds. Jeez. And they're already sold out? Now, do you think that's going to take material market share away from the Tesla Cybertruck? I think the design of the Cybertruck is unreal. The Tesla Cybertruck is amazing. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like doing these live streams around New York City and seeing a Cybertruck riding down Fifth Avenue. Can you guys imagine that? That's going to be insanity. Such a unique vehicle. Hey, JM2 is here. Good to see you, JM2. FredEx is Tom. You're headed into my old New York City hood. 6th Street. 6th and 12th. Very nice. Danny, that is correct. As in Barclays Brooklyn Nets Center. You are right. Dusty Cole, good to see you, my friend. Karina Thompson is here. So I'm seeing a lot of talk about EVs specifically, and silver is in high demand. Well, if anybody has any investments in any EV companies, you're probably going to want to pay attention this week on Wall Street, because a lot of the lithium miners are going to be reporting. And as we know, a lot of batteries that go into these EVs come equipped with many of these rare earths and precious metals. So a lot of those miners are going to be reporting this week. And it should be a pretty good proxy as to the demand for these rare earths. Richard Vogel says, Tom, I like the Ford Mach-E. Michael Joseph says, Tom, Tesla, big investor day is beginning of March with more reveals of the Cybertruck. Now, where are they hosting that? Are they hosting that at their big facilities in Texas? Keith, what's up? Says New York City, not big pickup truck country. Not really, but I still think if I had the money for a Cybertruck, I'd definitely drive it around New York. Bryce Cooley is here, what's up? Rafed says, hey Tom, good to see you, Rafed. Sabrina Fair, welcome. Always a pleasure. All right, so this is West 15th Street. We're coming up on West 14th. And we're going to continue down until we hit into the Village. Wayne McKay says Tesla Investors Day is in March at Giga, Texas. Copy that. Now, Tesla has had a massive short covering rally, like a big rip your face off rally back to the 200 day. But if you guys go to tradingview.com or whatever type of charting software you use, take a look at the past 2 days price action of Tesla. You're going to see a pretty egregious reversal topping sort of pattern. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back here quite materially. We'll see. If you look all the way in the distance, everybody, you'll see the beautiful One World Trade Center. This is actually a really cool shot with all the taxi cabs coming at us. And then you could see the One World Trade in the distance. Dan Zhang says the Cybertruck looks like something you could drive on Mars. Maybe that's the point, who knows? Maybe we'll have to go to Mars sooner than planned with all these UFOs ripping in and out of US and Canadian airspace. Now, is there any Canadians that are present in the Walks on Wall Street chat tonight? Maybe you could provide maybe some updates from the Canadian news outlets, because it's kind of breaking news for us here in America. I mean, it only happened 2 hours ago. Right before I started the live stream, they finally just reopened airspace in Montana, or over Montana. US actually closed down airspace because they had to, shoot down an unidentified object. Angel Perez has never bet against Elon. I agree with that. Wayne McKay says, Tom, Tesla pullback to 155, 158. Now, I went to see a really nice apartment today. There was just to sort of gauge demand for you guys. I think it'd be an interesting topic for the live stream. But I was looking at this apartment near the Central Park South neighborhood of Manhattan. And let me tell you, it was some pretty strong demand, especially for the lines to get into the open house. Now, it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom place.
You know what?
And I want you guys to guess how much the HOA fees were, just for the monthly common charges, if you will. Now, for the neighborhood where it is, comparison to some of the other buildings on the street, it wasn't too bad, actually. Wasn't too bad. Meld says, oh, I didn't know that. Empire State Building expanding. 3T3 says $1,500. Danny says $1,000. Brad's Brain says $350. You guys are close. B Smith says $1,200. Somebody says around $2K. It was $958. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, like, wow, that's a lot. But for the neighborhood, and comparing it to buildings next to it, in and around, it's actually a pretty decent price, to be honest. But you know, if you're looking to buy in New York, if you're looking to buy in Manhattan, these are all the things that you need to take into account, take into consideration. Not only do you have to pay your mortgage, obviously, but you have to pay your property taxes, and you have to pay HOA fees, your common charges. Melds, you're asking me if my real estate is expanding? Well, I'm always looking for deals, always in the market for deals. That's one of the things that I want to do with my life, is grow my portfolio of real estate. So I'm always on the hunt for deals all the time. NAV 407 says Tom, Canada Defense Minister, did a press conference and gave no substantial information, made a couple of obvious gaffes to boot. That's actually concerning for me. I have no idea what's going on, and they're not telling the public, so hopefully everything is all right. Hey, RP is here. What's up? Good to see you. B Smith says, what was the square footage? I'm almost embarrassed to say. It was 560 square feet. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, so guys, speaking of what we were just talking about, check this out. This is the First Republic Bank right here in New York. And look at a 3-month CD. 4.25, 3-month CD. Let's see what the 10-month is. It'll flip here in a minute. The 10-month is probably 4.5. But yeah, Mel says that's livable. Look, that's New York City life, you know? That's New York City life. Yeah, Brad's Brain says, Tom, well, our politicians do love wars. So, yeah, that they do, my friend. But yeah, I mean, 4.5%. I think they're going to make us go all the way around the thing. So, but I know it's 4.5% for the 10-month. Bryce's CD rates will continue to go up. That's good for savers, right? That's good for savers. SME Media says, wow, 4.25. Well, here's the thing, everybody. Man, look at all this trash. Well, here's the thing, and I think we've talked about this before. Now, when my grandparents were growing up, you were actually rewarded for being a fiscally responsible individual, right? So saving your money. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you just had a regular bank account and you opened it and you saved 20% of your income and you just stashed it away in your bank, you could make a substantial amount of interest on that money. And save for retirement. But with this new paradigm that we've been living in, pretty much since the great financial crisis, we've actually quite literally discouraged savers, and we've actually punished savers, right? So people who are doing the right thing, they're going to work every day, they're saving money, we've actually discouraged these people, which is horrible, and punished them, because if you save your money in a bank, you make nothing. So in essence, what this does is it forces market participants to search for yield, to go out into the marketplace in search for yield. And that actually creates speculative excess, and it creates speculative manias and bubbles. Two major speculative manias and bubbles that I could think of off the top of my head were the US equity market and the real estate market. Because if nobody can save their money, right, if nobody can save their money in a bank account and earn interest, they're like, well, inflation is 2% or 3% a year. I'm losing money every year. I better go buy stocks. I better go buy real estate. So it forces this mania. And now that we are in a period of quantitative tightening, we're sort of getting back to normal, actually. You know, everybody, it's funny, on the mainstream financial channels, everybody is, you know, pounding the table and almost crying and getting so emotional about how the Fed is destroying the economy. But our economy was propped up on cheap money to begin with. So it's almost as if we're just slowly getting back to normal, kind of. Hey, Onyx 9 is here. Good to see you. This is And Workers. True. Sabrina Fair, welcome, welcome. Sabrina Fair, we're crossing Waverly Place now as we make our way towards the village. I could already see more people in the street for a Saturday night in Manhattan. I would expect the village to be extremely packed, extremely crowded for that matter. Hey, Hollywood Bob is here. What's up, Bob? Mimi says it almost makes less sense to buy investment properties. Better to buy T-bills or CDs with 5% guaranteed. Yeah, so that's exactly a potential catalyst for real estate valuations to decline. Because if enough people, enough real estate investors say, hey, I'm going to take Mimi's advice, and I don't want to go out and buy a property with mid-single digit cap rates, and I have to worry about the maintenance, I have to worry about getting a right tenant. I'm just going to park my money in the bank and make my cool 4% and kick back and relax. Right? That is going to crush demand for real estate, especially during a time when interest rates are going up. It's a good point. Very good point, actually. Richard Vogel says, wasn't it almost 60 degrees there the other day? Yeah, it was. It's getting a little bit colder. Hey, Teresa Diaz is here. Our good friend from California. My friend Dusty Cole. Welcome, Dusty. Thanks for joining us. Danny says, Tom, any thoughts on... I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts on that, Danny, to be quite honest. Neil says they're gonna crash the petrodollar soon. You know, a lot of people are saying that. I don't buy it, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think the US dollar will always be the world's reserve currency in my view. Our piece is investment properties require a 25% down payment. Not all the time, not all the time. I would recommend putting down 20%. I would never recommend using a ridiculous amount of leverage. That's sort of what got us into the mess of the great financial crisis, is people thinking that they're geniuses, putting down 3%, leveraging out over 90% of the property on adjustable rate mortgages. That is a massive mistake. But in not all instances you have to put down 25%. You could put down 3%, you could leverage the whole thing out, but I would not recommend doing that at all. I think that's really, really unwise. Hey, Exploring with Alan's here. Is this Hey Tom? What's up, Alan? Always appreciate you joining in. Julie M says, Tom, how did you get onto the stock exchange last week? Yeah, so I was invited there, and I'm extremely appreciative and very thankful for that invitation. So a publicly traded company under the ticker symbol ELA, Envela, they reached out and they were so kind to invite me to the closing bell ceremony. And I said, absolutely, I'd love to go. You know, it's always been one of my dreams to go to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. So it was an awesome experience, and they were great hosts. I met a lot of really smart people, really great people. And yeah, thank you again for that. It was an amazing experience. So thank you to the Envela team. Really great people, professionals, very smart, educated individuals. So it was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure to be able to attend. All right, team, we are now, this is what I like to call the NYU College Town. This is the Comedy Cellar. Seems like a lot of people are waiting in line here too. It's a very lively night here in the city, which is always good to see. Danny says, Tom, are you betting on the Super Bowl? I'm not going to bet on it, but I think I want the Eagles to win. Now, I think it'll be fun. Let's all put in the chat, who are you betting to win the Super Bowl? I got the Eagles. What do you guys think? Or does anybody really care? I mean, I know we have some serious football fans here in the chat, but I'm really not emotionally attached to the game. But if I wanted to pick one, I'd say the Philadelphia Eagles for sure. Wow, a lot of people are saying the Chiefs. I wouldn't expect that, actually, for our group, since we're so close to New York. UniJ22 says the Eagles. Michael Joseph's got the Eagles 38-32. That's so specific. Could you imagine if you hit that right on the money? I've just never really been into a lot of this sports betting stuff. Some people like it, but hey, Sunshine NYC, what's up? Thanks for joining us here. We're on West 3rd Street. We're about to turn on McDougal Street near NYU. I see my good friend Melissa 2087. What's up, Melissa? Valor Rabbits is the Eagles. Abdullah is the Eagles as well. All right, now we got some Eagles coming. Dr. Longus is tie, yeah. Queen of Swords is Let's Go Eagles, love that. Brad's brain says, does anybody care? Tom, my Kansas City Chiefs are playing. Chiefs and the greatest QB of all time will win. So who's the QB again of the Kansas City Chiefs? I forget. I apologize. I should probably know this. The only quarterback that I really know in the NFL is the guy who plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Joe Burrow. I think he's the only one I know. Mahomes. Right. Patrick Mahomes. You guys are right. I probably should read up about this stuff. I'm just not into football. Never really been. I've always been a soccer guy. The other football, if you will. European football. So West 3rd Street, everybody, and McDougal Street, you have an awesome view right here of the Empire State Building uptown. You have all of the live music and sort of like karaoke bars here. Pretty lively night in New York, too. Mel says Patrick Mahomes is from East Texas, so I guess I'll go with the Chiefs. Copy that. Melissa 2087 says not watching the game. I just can't wait to see Rihanna tomorrow. That's right, the Super Bowl halftime show. That's probably going to attract a lot of people. Brad's brain, if the Chiefs win, I'll give you a personal shout out at the beginning of the live stream on Monday. I can guarantee I'll do that. Brad, how's everything going with the move? I'm sure you're probably all settled in now. Hey, Neil. Awesome. So we're walking down McDougal Street now. 128 McDougal Street to be exact. Has some interesting shops all around. Now, if you're driving in New York City, I would avoid this street. As you could tell, the traffic is always crazy backed up. Now we're passing Artichoke Pizza on the right. I think it's probably one of the more overrated pizza shops in New York. I'm not really a big fan of it, to be honest. There's a better shop right up here. Better than Artichoke. But that's just my personal opinion. It says, hey Tom, you're so right about savers being rewarded. I'm 66 and a compulsive saver. At one time I took half of my savings and paid cash for 2 homes. Wow, that's awesome. They are now VRBO and the return is massive. Terry, that's awesome. You know, I mean, that's the American dream right there, everybody. Like, quite literally, that is the American dream. Saving, invest. Because here's the thing, you know, the goal, and this is sort of how I think about it. You know, all of the very wealthy families that I know in my network, right? It's a lot of money accumulated throughout generations. And that's sort of what I'm after, right? It's not necessarily I'm working to build something for myself. It's more thinking about, you know, my kids' one day. You know, will either take over the business, inherit all of my rental properties, and that's how you create generational wealth in the United States of America. That is the American dream. And I've never really talked about this because I don't really like to get too political, but one of my biggest fears that I'm seeing right now in America is the destruction of the family unit. Right? I can't tell you how important it is to have a stable family unit. You know, having kids grow up in a family where, you know, a 2-parent household, you know, broken homes. If you look at all the statistics, your odds for living in poverty skyrocket. However, if you look at the families in the United States that are together and their education is at least a college diploma in some college, you're pretty much free and clear to be a success. That is what the data shows. So, you know, I think that's the problem with a lot of big cities is, you know, living here is pretty tough. And, you know, the American way is sort of independence. But I think the biggest life hack, in my view, if you're close with your siblings, if you're close to your parents, it's better to use all of your combined resources to make big, concentrated bets and sort of build out a massive family trust. That's what I would say. That's what I'm trying to do. But that's awesome that you do VRBO for sure, because I think Vrbo is like Airbnb, but you can only do month-long rentals. Is that right? It's not for short-term rentals. It's just cameras, as my grandparents bought their home in the 60s and paid it off in the 90s. Wow. After that, they passed it down to my mom. That's great. Julie M says, Tom, it's so hard for me as a single person with no generational wealth left to me. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's why I think thinking down generations, you know, if you could set a solid base for a family in the future, I think that's awesome. Yo, Evan Weeks is here. Good to see you, Evan. Always appreciate you joining in on the conversation. Take a look at this view of the One World Trade Center we got directly in front of us, looking beautiful as always. That's another symbol, staple of free market capitalism right there. I see my friend the Eyeglass Lady is joining in. What's up, Eyeglass Lady? Welcome. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new, we go live about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. We'd love to have you guys along for the ride. You know, we may venture all the way over to the Bowery. When's the last time we've been to the Bowery on the stream? I think it may have been all the way in the summer, to be honest. We may have to go over there, check it out. This is Thompson Street, so we got a couple more streets to go. There's a lot of nice bars, restaurants. This is right near New York University, one of the greatest universities in the city here. Hey, Blue Crew is here. This is late arrival tonight, Tom. Good to see you, Blue Crew. Mike C. I know, Mike C, isn't it wild? But that's sort of the times we live in, man. Sunshine after rain. Terry says, my son-in-law is from Kansas. Needless to say, I want the Eagles to win. That's funny. Hey, Daniel says, Tom, could not agree anymore. Tom, the attack on the family is very concerning. I agree, and you know, it sucks for sure. I think if you're very close with your siblings and you could stick together, you know, let's say if you have a brother or sister or multiple brothers and sisters, and you combine that income, let's say if you guys are all making, you know, 60 to 100 or even more, you know, that's substantial dry powder that you could use for, you know, to start a business, start a company, acquire properties. And then down the road, if you want to be independent, you just take the equity stake in the company that you created with your siblings and just have one of your siblings buy you out. At least that's what I would do. All right, let's get turned around here. This is LaGuardia Place, Bleecker Street. I love the look of the original taverns here with the gold letters and the black contrast in the background. Billy, what's up? Good to see you, Billy. Welcome. Teresa Diaz, 10:15 with the time check. Love that. Yeah, Polo Dreams says, Tom, what do you think about that second spy drone? Do you think we will be at war soon? It's, well, I'm actually concerned about it because when in history before have we really seen this? And I don't know, maybe we have seen it, but it just seems like too much of a coincidence, this back-to-back incidents, so to speak, right? Let's go down one more. Let's go down one more and then go up. So what's the timeline, right? We had the China spy balloon, right? We blew that out of the sky over the Carolinas. Then yesterday, the Biden administration, President Joe Biden authorized the United States military to take down an additional unidentified object off the coast of Alaska. And then now today, we're just hearing reports that we took down another UFO. Justin Trudeau authorized that, I think it was the American military or the Canadian military, I'm not too sure, shot another one down in Canadian airspace. So I don't know what's going on, guys. I really don't, but I'm a little bit concerned. A little bit concerned. It's definitely concerning that, you know, other countries, you know, feel comfortable flying aircraft or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, over Canadian airspace or the continental United States. B. Kim, you're right, NORAD. $214 is ET just trying to get home. Yeah, I mean, we'll see, guys. It's LL says that's the only thing Justin Trudeau did right in his term in office. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with him, but you know, at the end of the day, the number one job of a sitting president, I'm talking about in the United States, is to keep the United States citizens safe, right? So, look, I mean, it's in the hands of the United States military. Do I trust them? Yeah, I trust our military. I would say I trust our military to get the job done. I would say that, yeah. All right, guys, this is the corner of Broadway and Houston Street. Love walking this neighborhood. There's a lot of cool art galleries here, too. Hey, Greg says, much ado about nothing. Read Julia's article, Balloon Mind State in Puck. Greg, if you want to put it in the description, absolutely, I'll take a look at it, for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. George to Saudi Arabia and Russia. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I don't think we've gotten many answers yet. I want to point out something really quickly, because we've been talking about New York City real estate for quite some time on this live stream. If you continue to walk straight down this block here towards One World Trade Center, on the right hand side you're actually going to see a building that has a huge letter S on it that stands for Serhant. So Ryan Serhant is one of the best real estate brokers and real estate salespeople in the United States. I think they're consistently the top one or two sales teams in New York City. They just opened up a new office right here to the right, and he landed an unbelievable listing. I mean, you guys got to check this out. Central Park Tower, the top 3 floors, the beautiful triplex. Serhant has the listing, and it is being sold for $250 million. The place is absolutely gorgeous. The taxes are only $100,000 a month. Pretty good deal. I would jump all over it if I had the cash. Maybe if FredEx can lend us a couple bucks, I could afford the property tax payments too. Hey Greg, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting Walks on Wall Street and for being here. We're going to continue down West Broadway. Yo, Gigi NYC is here. What's up, Gigi? Hope your weekend is well. Evan Weeks says, Tom, until the world decides to actually end, I'm going to behave as though it intends to go on. Honestly, there's really nothing else you can do. That's probably the comment of the night right there, to be honest, because if you really think about it, there's nothing that we could do about it. I mean, I'm not a ranking member of the United States military, so I think we should just carry on business as usual, but it's a little bit uneasy to sort of hear about what's going on. Hey, Raj is here. What's up, Raj? This is, what are HOAs like on a $250 million apartment? Expensive, probably really expensive. I don't know right off the top of my head, but if you guys want to, pop open another YouTube window, just type in Central Park Tower and Serhant, and you'll see it. You'll be able to see the listing. It's actually really, really nice. Here's some of the very unique clothing and art boutiques down here. Terry says, Tom, most VRBO properties require their rental durations to be a minimum of 7 days. Both of my properties are always occupied. Very nice. Yeah, Terry, I was telling the group, so my place in Miami, originally, I would use Airbnb to rent it out for maybe, 1 or 2 days at a time. But what I've noticed, and maybe Terry, you could probably put your insight here too. You own more properties than me. You probably have much more experience, and I'm definitely interested to hear what you have to say about this. But it seems as if it's the same amount of effort, if not maybe a little bit less effort, to rent the houses out or the apartments out for 20 days at a time or more. Because if you have one tenant in there for about a month, you only have to pay one cleaning fee, and the tenant pretty much just takes care of itself. Hey George, thank you so much for the 99-cent donation. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. YouTuber says, isn't that building where the residents sued because it moves like the wind? No, but that's a good point. That particular building is 432 Park Avenue. And 432 Park Avenue is another beautiful addition to Billionaires Row. But that is actually on Park Avenue and 57th Street, right on the corner there. Central Park Tower is actually on the opposite side of Billionaires Row, near Columbus Circle, located right on 57th Street and Broadway. I know, there's so many super tall towers now going up around Manhattan, it's like we can't even keep track. It's kind of crazy. Hey, TC says, good evening, Tom. Do you think this will impact the markets negatively on Monday? I don't think the SPY stuff will impact the markets negatively. I think the market is really looking forward to Tuesday. Tuesday is when we get the CPI inflation numbers out. And I think we're going to see volatility next week. I think we're going to see volatility. You know, I always say this, look at the VIX. And usually the bond market moves first. And the bond market, both the corporate debt market and the sovereign bond market, which is US Treasuries, have been selling off. You know, look at that 10-year US Treasury yield now trading at 3.7%. You know, if we get to 4% again on the 10-year US Treasury, I think stocks are going to get hit. We'll see. We'll see. George has always enjoyed the live streams. Thank you for being here, George. I appreciate it. Evan Weeks makes a good point, says Tom, I think the 24-hour news cycle and its focus on sensationalism, fear-mongering, and 2-minute hate has done more damage to the world's economy over the last 2 decades than war. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, everything seems to be very click-driven, and that's why I even have, you know, my own rule usually is, I like to call it the fog of war phase, that anytime you have a major, you know, current event, a breaking news story, until, well, I should say, in order for me to make a concrete decision about that news story, I like to wait at least 7 to 14 days, because you know it's going to be all propaganda from the right and the left on CNN and Fox News. So the first, you know, 72 hours all the way to like 5 days is all propaganda and fake news. And then as the real facts start to come out over the course of the couple weeks, then everybody settles down and then makes a real decision. And here's the problem. We've been trained, right? We've been conditioned. You know, think about like TikTok. Our attention spans are like 2 seconds. You know, YouTube Shorts, you know, 3-second videos that, you know, we look at it, we get upset about it, and then it's on to the next thing. So when the facts actually do come out, nobody cares about it anymore. So it's definitely a concern. It's a good point. All right, speaking of Billionaires Row, Central Park Tower. Team, this is the brand new location of Serhant, one of the most prosperous and successful real estate brokerages in the country, not only New York, but in the country. This is the brand new office right here. Beautiful location, right next to many upscale restaurants, very close to Lower Manhattan in the financial district. Really, really nice location. Rod says, Tom, have you ever been caught out in Miami when a blackout hit? A blackout hit in Miami? I've been caught out in multiple blackouts in New York. Now, the most notable blackout that I've been in New York City was when all of the power went out from, I think it was 86th Street on the west side all the way down to Times Square. And at the time, Carnegie Hall was actually having a showing going on. And I was in my office, and I was about to just step into the elevator when the power went out. So I took the stairs all the way down, and I walked all the way up near Carnegie Hall, which is 57th and 7th. And they actually moved the show outside. So people were playing instruments. It was just the most unique thing you'll ever see. And I still have the video. Maybe I'll actually upload it to YouTube. But it was definitely a unique experience nonetheless, being outside in a New York City blackout. Now, during that time, it was a very nice experience. There was really no looting or robbing or anything like that going on. Hey, Road Dog 41 is here. What's up, Road Dog 41? Thanks for joining. Dan Russell says, love the live streams and the chit chat. Thank you for supporting the live streams. Appreciate it. Very, very much. Hey, Ed T says, volatility to the downside, Tom, I think. I really don't think it, though, after the huge run-up. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. I agree with that, Ed. Especially because this earnings season has been rather lackluster, right? Now, I don't know if I want to talk about this tonight or Monday, but Monday's live stream is probably going to be based solely on valuation metrics. So we're going to revisit, forward PEs across the board of the major equity indices, such as the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. We're going to be doing some historical comparative analysis as it relates to forward earnings. And the reason why I want to revisit that, really quick, I love these streets down here. Now, I always call them cobblestone streets, but I know they're not called cobblestone streets. And I always get flamed in the comments when I call them cobblestones, but they're not. I forget what they're called, but whatever they're called, they look fantastic. Does anybody know the actual name of the streets here? The only thing I know is it's not cobblestone, so I don't want to be spreading that. But anyway, we were about 4 months ago on the stream. The big theme was that before earnings season, right before this earnings season that we're in right now, that we were suspecting a lot of the analysts at the Wall Street mega banks to revise down EPS estimates for next fiscal year. And that's exactly what they've done. So assuming that earnings haven't been good this quarter, and by and large they've been all right, they've been a little bit lackluster, that means I think there's going to need to be additional revision down. And that actually means that we're trading at premium valuations on a forward PE basis. But we'll talk about that later. Oh, is it just called stone pavers? I think it's called something else. Dave says, I've called them cobblestones for years. Hey, Ryther is here. Says, hey, good evening, team. What's up? There it is. Dr. Murray Hill to the rescue. Thank you, sir. Dr. Murray Hill, MD, says Belgian block is the name of the material the streets are made of down there. Thank you so much. You are correct. I always say the wrong thing. I don't know why. I always say cobblestone, but I know that's wrong. But Belgian block. Now, I love it and I hate it. I'll tell you why I hate it. As you guys know, I used to get around the city on a skateboard. Skateboards don't work on these things. Let me tell you that from experience. You know, back in the day, I used to blast music in my headphones, ride the skateboard, rip down Grand Street, and then try to turn on one of these little side streets and go sailing like Superman about 20 feet in the other direction. And that is not fun, I'll tell you that. But Dr. Murray, MD, it's good to see you. I trust your weekend is going well, and thank you for watching Walks on Wall Street. Valerie says it's because it's too slippery too. Now, if you want to talk about walkways that are very slippery, for whatever reason down in Miami, it can just rain like a teeny bit and everything is like a sheet of ice. It's the most bizarre thing ever. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the type of concrete they use. I don't know if it's a different mixture they use down there, but anytime it rains, you really got to watch yourself walking the streets in Miami, especially in Brickell. It's literally like a sheet of ice. And that I don't know why. Sunshine NYC says, no, they are cobblestone streets. Really? Every time I say that, I get flamed in the comments. You're like, Tom, it's not cobblestone. Yo, Bryce, take it easy. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Ali Star says, wow, I learned something Belgian block. Little Larry Sellers says, I'm okay with lackluster earnings. Hopefully it's a building block, perhaps. Perhaps. Now here's real classic New York, everybody. Look at the fire escapes here. I mean, tell me that's not gorgeous. Now this is the one, I will tell you this, okay? When I'm in Miami, this is what I miss right here. You're not gonna find this in Miami, Florida. You will find a lot of beautiful Art Deco buildings, but you're not gonna find something that looks like this. No way, no way. This is gorgeous here. This is actually one of my goals, is to be able to afford to rent or purchase a loft down here. You don't see this anywhere else in the United States. This is classic New York. Miami's beautiful, don't get me wrong, I love it. You guys know that, but I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Can't beat that. This Range Rover kind of looks like a skunk, doesn't it? The colorway looks like a skunk. Reminds me of a skunk. Nice car, not hating on it. Anyway, all right, team, totally lost track of time. We got to head uptown, and we got to put the burners on too, because I lost track of time. That's all right. Oh, somebody says Chicago has some as well. I got to get to Chicago. I hear mixed things about the city, but then again, there's mixed things about every city. Here's another shot of the fire escapes here. Yo, War Walker, what's up? And notice how quiet it is, guys, down here on the side streets here in Soho. It's so peaceful. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at that. So these are the classic loft style apartments here in Soho. Amazing. Those must be, what would you guys guess the ceiling height? Maybe 18, 19, 20 foot ceilings, you think? And you have the entire floor. Gorgeous artwork on the wall. I mean, you can't beat that. Those are probably 20-foot vaulted ceilings, right? I'm a sucker for open concept. I love open floor plans where the kitchen transitions beautifully into the dining room transitions beautifully into the living room. I love that. Richard Vogel says 12 foot? No, I think it's more than 12. Yeah, Steph UH is beautiful. It really is. Broome Street. TC says, how much would those cost? You know, I've seen some of them renting for, on the low end, $9,000. But you can get a really nice place for like $14,000 a month. Hey, Using People is here. It's Tom, I'm watching Arrow Season 1 now. I just finished watching Season 4. Interesting. Hey, Western Mass Dave, thank you for joining us tonight. We will see you tomorrow, as always. We value your presence here. Now, speaking of Miami, we always visit this art gallery, Eden Fine Art, when we're in South Beach. But they have two other locations actually in Manhattan. Now maybe this is some Walks on Wall Street trivia for you guys. for the OGs that have been really paying attention, does anybody want to guess where the other iconic Eden Fine Art Gallery is? That I always show you guys. We go stream there almost all the time. I'll give you a hint. It's by a very famous, well, that's too obvious actually. I'll give you guys some time. I love this butterfly sculpture right here. It's near a very famous cathedral. Our piece is, Tom, is the Marriott Marquis Nice in Manhattan. I've never stayed there, to be honest. I've never stayed there, I would assume. But here's what I would say. If you guys want to spend big money and have a really, really nice experience staying at a hotel in New York, you got to stay in my favorite place, which is the Park Hyatt at 157. I'll tell you why I like Park Hyatt at 157. Oh, look at that loft there. It looks like somebody's having a birthday party. Look at that. Let me zoom in for you guys. How cool is that? Looks like someone's celebrating a birthday. I love just walking around looking at real estate, man. Anyway, but you got to stay at 157. It is the Park Hyatt, and the gym is magnificent. And I'll tell you why. You ready? I'll tell you. Imagine running on a treadmill, okay? And you have a gorgeous view of the JW Marriott Essex House and all of Central Park. I've actually posted a video, I think on my YouTube, about it. And it's just so peaceful being able to run on a treadmill, do the Peloton, whatever, and look out over Central Park. And your neighbors to the right and the left of you is Central Park Tower to your left. And to your right, your new neighbor is actually the Steinway building. The Stairway to Heaven building is your new neighbor. It's gorgeous. And then after you run, you could actually go to the indoor swimming pool, which also overlooks 57th Street. Matthew M says $700 a night. I think it's like $1,100 a night. But if you guys have the coin, I mean, or if you have the company credit card, just don't tell them that I told you to do it. That's where I'd stay. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, TC's only thing that would be better is running in Central Park. You could definitely do that too. I mean, I've told you guys, you know, I got a sweet COVID deal when the C-19, I'm not allowed to say that word. You guys know YouTube sent me like a link. Well, actually, never mind. I don't want to stir the pot. But I got a pretty good big C-19 deal. And it was the best experience of my life living in Manhattan, right on Central Park South. Every day being able to wake up and going for a jog in Central Park. That's something everybody needs to experience at least once in your life. I promise you, it is a great joy. Great joy. Road dog, yeah, none of those. I could guarantee you that. Now, what do you guys think? Now that we're walking around the Soho neighborhood, you guys like this style architecture better, or do you like the Billionaire's Row style Midtown Manhattan a little bit better? What do you guys prefer? I'm actually interested to see what the responses are going to be. Terry says the Marriott Marquis is overrated in my opinion. You might look at the Knickerbocker Hotel. Great customer service and great location. Well, there you have it. Well, a lot of people like Soho better. Yeah, I think it just has more character, right? Yeah, Steph UH is like Soho by far. I do too, and it's a shame that we very seldom are able to get down here. Now you guys know this is my favorite, the white fire escapes. This actually looks very unstable here. That's probably why there's scaffolding. They're probably doing some restoration to the building. Valerie's is Flushing. Flushing is very nice. Flushing is the largest Chinatown in New York City. Check out this pretty cool classic car right here. Hey DM, what's up? This is Tom. I prefer Soho buildings, more charm and character. I agree with that. But I think, I don't know, it's so tough. I mean, there's so many choices in New York. If I had the money, if money wasn't an issue, and I could rent an apartment or buy an apartment in any neighborhood, it's definitely between, wow, look at this thing. This thing is so unique. What is this, an old Range Rover or something? This thing is so cool. Look at this, guys. This is Defender, Range Rover Defender. I bet this thing is a ton of money. Almost looks like a military vehicle, doesn't it? Looks like a Humvee. Doesn't even look like... Looks cool though. I actually really like it. Now, the top two choices would be a Soho loft, as you know, or one of the units in the 157 building. I just love that building, man. Love that building. I think the Extel Group did a fantastic job. It's just so unique. A lot of people don't like it because of the design of the roof of the building, the curved top. But I think it looks so awesome, so unique. Dusty Cole says it's an old Range Rover. You're right. Julia M says, Tom, don't forget Sutton Place. Sutton Place is another fantastic neighborhood too. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sutton Place is actually a neighborhood that resides on the east side of Manhattan, and it has gorgeous views of Roosevelt Island, as well as the 59th Street Bridge. Fantastic neighborhood. Really, really beautiful neighborhood. Here's Shopify. Wow, Mighty Mole says the Defender's 41 to 110K. That's a pretty big price range there. Yeah, Little Larry Cellars, we were there not too long ago. It's true. Yeah, John, you're right. So Sutton Place, they do have private backyards. Very expensive neighborhood, very wealthy neighborhood. Now, I remember I had to do a project my senior year of high school, and I had to visit a New York City precinct. And the precinct in Sutton Place, they were having one of their it's called a community affairs meeting. I'm not sure if anybody's been, but I'm not sure if you guys had to do this, but your senior year of high school, you have to do a senior project, right? You can pick any topic. You have to do a big research report, a presentation in front of your class. So I chose to do a research report on the New York City Police Department and like how they operate. So I actually attended one of the community affairs meetings, but it was located at the Sutton Place Synagogue. The Sutton Place Synagogue. And let me tell you, that place is gorgeous. There's actually a waterfall, like a big waterfall, and like a public kind of eating space outside. It's an awesome place. So if you guys are in the neighborhood, or maybe you work in the neighborhood and you want just sort of a peaceful place to kind of relax and get away from all the craziness of the city, take a look at Sutton Place Synagogue and just sit down and relax, meditate at the big waterfall there. Now guys, they just opened this. This used to be all scaffolding. You guys remember? This is completely brand new. I think this is for part of New York University. Very modern. Let's actually take a walk through. This is the first time I'm ever walking through here. Maybe it's additional classrooms, but it looks like they did a good job. Everything looks crispy and brand new. Look at that. Looks like they just poured the cement. Wow, and it looks like they have like a kid's playground. Maybe these are actually luxury condominiums. Hey, Hollywood Bob's, it's Tom. Have you ever been to Blank Street Coffee yet? I have. It's pretty good. I've been to the one 57th Street actually. It's a pretty good. I give it 2 thumbs up. Oh, are they really dorms for graduate students? It's pretty nice dorms. Yeah, somebody says no graffiti yet. Yeah, none yet. Looks good. They did a great job. It looks open. It says athletics. There's probably a huge gym on the ground floor. Here, let me stand back a little bit so you guys can see it. Hey, Cool Weather Farmer, what's up, man? Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. So this is the brand new John A. Paulson Center, New York University. It looks gorgeous. Looks like they did a good job. Literally looks like it just opened today. Everything is super clean, super nice. Now, speaking of coffee, there's actually a pretty good coffee shop here. It's called Think Coffee. In my college years, I actually spent quite a bit of time in the coffee shop right there doing work and whatnot. I'll give you a quick shot of the lobby. Definitely a very modern design, right? Almost looks like a doctor's office, doesn't it? Kind of looks like a doctor's office. Yeah, Hollywood Bob, you're right. They did raise a bunch of money. Somebody says wanting to see if they go public. Yeah, we'll see. They're a New York company too, so it's definitely good to support local companies. They do have good coffee. For sure. Hey, Arsenal fan 13, what's up? So this neighborhood seems a lot quieter than a lot of the neighborhoods in Midtown. Exactly. You're exactly right. And that's why I like it. It's kind of nice to get away from all the clang and bang of the city and the sirens and the craziness. It's good. Terry says, I love Soho, but my granddaughter, who wants to attend NYU Law this fall, wants Tribeca or Battery Park. We are flying Monday to begin her search. That is right, Terry, you were telling us about that. Congratulations once again. I will say that your granddaughter does have pretty good taste. Battery Park is a pretty nice neighborhood. Tribeca as well. I think you'll like it. The only thing I will warn you, and it's good that you're coming now, actually, Terry, because you'll get to see it for yourself. As someone who's worked in Lower Manhattan for many years, well, I worked on the other side, so I worked on Water Street and on the corner of Wall Street and Water, right there, very close to the New York Stock Exchange. I worked right next to the old Deutsche Bank, which is the German investment bank. It's windy, let me tell you that. So It's not necessarily too fun living down there in the winter, but I don't know, maybe your granddaughter enjoys the cold. I can't do the cold. I mean, hence why I got a place in Miami, but you'll see, the wind down there is brutal, especially during the winter. So I think it's going to be good that you guys actually get to see it in person in the winter, and maybe you'll say, you know what? That guy from Walks on Wall Street was right. It is kind of windy down here. Daily you could have 20-mile-an-hour gusts from the wind tunnels. Definitely not fun. But maybe you like it. Who knows? This is Think Coffee right here. I think this is one of the most unique coffee shops on the inside. They have, let's see if we can see inside. Probably not. They put the gate down, but this place is really cool because there's so much seating in the back and there's an entire wraparound bar. I actually used to sit right up here at the bar, have a cappuccino, do some work. Really nice place. Hey, Glamdoll is here. This is Chiefs. Seems like the chat is split 50-50 on who we want to win the Super Bowl. Valerie, I can't say I've seen a gym that has a pastry bar. I don't think I've ever been to a gym that has a pastry bar. Hey, Caden says, hey Tom, how are you voting for the Super Bowl? Well, I really don't have any vested interest in it, but I'm going to root for the Philadelphia Eagles just because that's the closest proximity to New York. But I don't think I could name one player on the Eagles. Ed T says, I want the Eagles to win, but I think the Chiefs are going to win. Now, I kind of want the Chiefs to win just because of Brad. Brad's brain is a big Chiefs fan in the chat, so we'll see. Speaking of NYU, this is pretty much the campus right here. If you continue to walk right down here, this is the famous Washington Square Park. We don't have much time to go there tonight, but maybe another night I'll take you guys there. You know, I was just thinking about this today. I cannot wait until the summer, because when we start the live streams, it's actually still a little bit sunny out. Can't wait till the summer. I'm so sick of winter. Even though this winter was so mild, guys, it hasn't really even snowed. It was like flurrying for like 20 minutes and then it stopped. LL says, hey Tom, I know it's old news, but I found out all the Bed Bath & Beyonds are closing their Canadian stores. Yeah, I think they filed for bankruptcy, didn't they? Bed Bath & Beyond. So it's definitely one to stay away from. Oh, guys, I have one more piece of anecdotal data to give you. I know you guys are so enthused to hear my stories. I'm just kidding, but I'll tell you anyway. I have a big mouth. I ramble. So I was getting my hair cut today, and I'm sitting down, and nice guys. Everybody's talking about stocks. Everybody. I'm like, what the heck? So I go in there, and my barber starts asking me about meme stocks and talking about Tesla. And I'm like, oh, I have no idea. I stay out of it. But everybody in the barber shop, it was like everybody knew what they were talking about. Everybody was like, yeah, I think GameStop is going to rally again, AMC this and that, and this conspiracy and that conspiracy. And I'm thinking to myself, this reminds me of the old story on Wall Street about, it's time to sell when your shoe shine boy is out there giving you advice. Now again, super anecdotal data, but in the back of my head, I'm like, there's still a lot of retail traders out here that are gambling their money away on these crappy meme stocks. And if we look back throughout history, stock markets bottom after massive capitulation events. And we really haven't had that here in the equity market. I think we've had it in the crypto market, but we haven't had that in U.S. equities. If you think back to 2020 with the big C, the big virus, that was a capitulation event. You have the Dow down 1,000 points every day. It's like, I remember during COVID, I would wake up, I'm like, wait, futures are down how much? It was crazy. That is the type of price action that you see when markets bottom. Not this very structured sell-off that we've been having in the S&P. I mean, this bear market has been very, very structured. So there's a little bit of anecdotal data for you. I apologize for the story. Valerie says people are talking about stocks because stocks are falling. Well, I mean, look, we've had a pretty decent rally, but the market just started rolling over this week. We've had a pretty nice bear market rally. This is 8th Street. This is the downtown subway station where you get the RW train. Hey, Cadence says good night, everybody, and Tom, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We do these live streams about 5 days a week between New York and Miami discussing the financial markets. Join us, hear the chat. I think we just crossed 28,000 subs on the channel, which is just beyond my comprehension. So I really appreciate and I'm very thankful for the really cool community that we've grown here. It's a blast getting to walk and talk with you guys. But I'll take you guys back to 31st Street. That is where I got to go anyway. So we'll start to head in that direction. Now, it was an extremely windy night in New York tonight, but since we have the microphone, the audio should be fine for you guys, which is good. Wow, look at that. The Empire State Building looks great. Hey, Andy is joining us from South Korea. Good to see you, Andy. Hopefully I'll be making my way to Korea pretty soon. Oh, team, I think that is cue to end the stream. Our gimbal just ran out of battery. But we're up against the 2-hour mark anyway. So I'll cut you guys loose early. Remember, guys, there's gonna be no live stream tomorrow. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday with your family and your friends. Please be safe. And I will see you guys back live on Monday. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys later. So NATO 42 OG, Sunshine After Rain, 45, Austin City Limits, Hawaii, GGNYC, Ed T. Thank you so much. Andy, Michael Joseph, Tom Barry, Michelle Henry. Thank you so much for coming out. Fred X, Line Sync, John Rainex, Abdullah, DWG, Victor, Sunshine, New York City, all of our great moderators. And to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere, and you just need to know where to look. I'll see you guys live Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care.